Welcome to Living the Quran through the Living Quran, produced by the QAIM Institute. In this podcast, we are delivering the commentary of the Noble Quran as authored by Shaykh Mohsin Qaraati in his Tafseer-e Noor. Today in part 9, we will review the topic of another blessing and analyze verse number 13. Before we go to the commentary as authored by Shaykh Mohsin Qaraati in his Tafseer-e Noor, let us have a listen to the Arabic, followed by the English translation.
وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ.
And another blessing you love, help from God and a victory near at hand, and give good news to the faithful. Entering into paradise and having the divine forgiveness is the epitome of salvation from the punishment of the divine. However, since the help and victory from Allah is yet another blessing, in this verse we see that Allah mentions it separately from everything else which is given to the believers. Takeaway messages. Point number 1. All of the rewards from God are not reserved for the world to come. Rather, some of them will be given right here in this world. Point number 2. The reward must be something which the other party likes to receive and is something which would encourage them on. Point number 3. The sincere soldiers will attain to one of two goodnesses. Either they will become martyrs and thus enter into the paradise which was mentioned in the previous verse, or they will be successful and victorious in this life. Point number 4. We must consider victory as being from God. It does not come from having equipment, military equipment that is, and training. Point 5. Having a hope in a bright future is one of the ways to encourage and to give hope to the warriors of Islam. Point number 6 is that God will always fulfill His promises, as in this verse under review we read about the help coming from God, while in another verse found in chapter 110, Surat al-Nasr, verse 1, God tells us, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, when the help comes from God and the victory. So therefore in this verse we read victory is near, while in the other verses we have seen in the Quran, for example in chapter 47, Surat al-Fath, verse 1, God says, indeed we have given you a manifest victory. And point number 7 to conclude for today's session is that one must leverage the power of encouraging the warriors to sacrifice their wealth and their lives. Tune in to our next installment and the conclusion of the commentary of Surat al-Saff, where we'll review verse number 14 under the theme of Be the Helpers of Allah. To stay up to date when we release new content, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram under the QAIM Institute. In addition, be sure you subscribe to our podcast station on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and many other major providers to receive direct updates when we release new content.